Destroy All Neighbors is a brand new 2024 film that I heard of for the first time like 2 days ago, probably through YouTube. Didn't hear any advertising outside of that for this film, so this is just another 2024 film that I decided to check out mostly blind. I knew it was a horror comedy, didn't really know anybody in it. This is directed by Josh Forbes, and looking him up, he directed the film, which I have not seen but have heard of and has been on my list forever, called Contracted Phase 2. The zombie horror independent film. And then he has another independent film before that one under his belt as well that I had never heard of. But this is purely horror comedy, very much on the comedy side. And what we have going on basically is this guy lives in this apartment. He's kind of nerdy. He's very into progressive rock. Straight up, I don't know a whole lot about progressive rock, but from the sounds of what it sounds like in this movie, and they definitely play into the progressive rock thing a lot, like it has that theme. It sounds quite electronic, and it sounds definitely experimental in a heavy sense. They definitely use like a lot of unique instruments and stuff like that. However, like I said, not a expert on prog or anything like that, but they talk about it a lot in this film, especially with the lead. And he's kind of socially awkward, but definitely like more on the shy side, and he's definitely quirky. Lives with this girl, and then this neighbor moves in who ends up being named Vlad. But Vlad, as soon as he moves in, he's just making tremendous noise, playing loud music all the time, being obnoxious essentially. And this guy, the lead character, the main protagonist, he really doesn't want to cause trouble or go knock and tell him to keep quiet kind of thing. He's very reserved in that way. But things start to escalate, and at one point he tries to bang on the wall, and when he does bang on the wall, that's when pretty much shit hits the fan. And this guy next door is clearly it's all makeup, and he's in maybe even a fat suit. I bet you the actor who's playing Vlad looks absolutely nothing like Vlad does in the film. But this guy is, I don't even know what. He has this really thick accent. You can barely understand him. He looks maybe Eastern European, maybe Italian, maybe even like Irish or something like that. But the accent's not Irish or British or UK. He's definitely from like a European country, but really, really thick speaking in the accent. But he's just a very dirty character with like an eccentric personality. And this film is really funny. It's definitely got like kind of sitcom-ish humor. It reminded me a lot of like Edgar Wright with Shaun of the Dead. A lot of moments in this film felt like Shaun of the Dead. Very Scott Pilgrim. There's scenes where like somebody will pop on screen and it'll have this like tense sound effect, but in a comedic way. And this movie moves very fast, very quickly, very heavy in wit, but it's also like cranked to 11 with the over the topness. Like you're either on board or you're not. A lot of scenes can be very over the top with like close-ups of face and like like really like screaming and obnoxious, like yelling and annoyingly humorous, like just noises all the time, and extended periods of time with that, where at some points like it started to kind of give me a headache and kind of overplay itself, especially like some scenes I just found out specifically that are just drawn out to a little bit too long. So this film is kind of mid-range for me. I definitely appreciated a lot about it and a lot of things that it was going for, but it's not too long either. It's only like an hour and 25 minutes, whereas if this film went over an hour and a half, I'd probably be giving it a lot more criticisms. But I was on board for the humor and the style that the director was going for. I could tell what kind of film this was going to be, and I was enjoying it for what it was. It's just like I said, some things just went a little bit too long. The characters are fantastic. Vlad is hilarious for the majority of the film. This guy and the apartment that he lives in, there's this landlord, this woman named Eleanor. She's probably my favorite character. She made me laugh the most. There's situations with her and the dialogue and the banter between the lead character and her that definitely were my favorite parts of the film. This film reminded me of so many other things, and I can't say necessarily why due to spoilers, but like There's themes in this film. There's one situation with Eleanor specifically that totally reminded me of Return of the Living Dead. There's parts of this film that feel very trauma-like. Lloyd Kaufman. I already mentioned a little bit of Scott Pilgrim and Shaun of the Dead vibes with the way the film moves kind of thing. This film was just really reminding me of other films and a combination of so many other horror comedies or just other styles. One of the actors that I did recognize is, I think his name is Thomas Lennon. He was in I Love You Man. That's where I recognized him the most, and he was hilarious in that movie, and he pops up in a lot of comedies. He was in here, and I recognized his face immediately. He plays a funny character. And this film is gory when it wants to be, but like I said, in a much more humorous way. And it goes into some interesting places. It moves at a fast pace, and it definitely cranks itself up to absolutely ridiculous levels. And like I said, they play with the prog rock thing a lot with this film because the guy is an aspiring musician throughout the entire film. And there's almost like dreamlike scenarios that I don't know if necessarily, like, definitely this film plays with kind of like hallucinations and stuff like that. So you get that element throughout the film pretty much the entire way. And like I said, it's a make or break film depending on whether you like the style of humor that it's going for, and if you can take the over the top zaniness of it, because it really is a massively zany experience for the whole thing. Every once in a while, this film will throw me a curveball with its humor, especially involving the dialogue, but just situations that I totally wouldn't expect coming would start to happen and take me by surprise, and they'd always make me roll my eyes, but in the best way. So there's a lot of positives in this film. It didn't work for me 100%, but I'm right down the middle with it. I gave it a 2.5. So it's fine. It was definitely worth a watch. I don't think it's something that I'll be rewatching a whole lot, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and it's definitely, it has its brand, and you're either going to be on board for it or not, basically. So that's Destroy All Neighbors. It was a cool flick, and it's definitely goofy. So, and it's over the top goofy to the max. So know who you are going into it, basically, and subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming until next review. Have a good one. Take care and cheers.